Socal Cantina? Is it?
Socal Cantina. Socal Cantina.
Socal Cantina.
Like Southern California.
Meaning Southern California.
okay.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
So Aiko's back.
Leo, I'm back. What's up, party people? Oh, camera's over there. I'm like looking over there. I don't know.
Welcome to the Nightlife Podcast,
Nightlife
episode 2,
Podcast.
season 2, episode 2. We are
Two to
here
two.
with Leo Holtzman,
Leo.
cocktail conjuror from Socal Cantina. How you doing, man?
Mixologist.
Good to have you. Good to have
What's
you.
going on, my brother? How are you?
Great.
Talk to us.
So we are here in the middle of Brickell.
Yeah. Hey, no
What you hear in the
hurricanes.
background, besides the live band over here on the left, is
What's up, guys?
actual construction right in front of us. I don't know if you hear us
Construction,
better
live
than that,
band.
but here we are.
What's good is that
Should be
there's
done
no
like 5 years
hurricane.
ago, so.
Right.
no hurricane near
5
us.
years, is that what you said? It'll come down. So this
no,
is an
eventually
amazing
get
place
built.
here, by the way, that you run. Tell us a little bit. Let's get into the interview right away, and tell us a
Okay.
little bit about who are you? What do you do?
Yeah. So I graduated college and I started bartending in like the. Sorry, let me back up. So I used to be a professional magician. So I performed for corporate.
Magician?
Yeah, I
Oh,
performed
nice.
for corporate clients.
By the way,
all
tap
over the world.
dancer.
Huh?
Whoa.
Tap dancer.
All right.
Yeah, man.
I mean, different arts, but
Both we get.
both entertainers.
Yes.
And then
I stripped.
Yeah, he's
Where?
stripped back.
I just didn't charge.
Yeah, I heard.
I just- anyway,
yeah, so I started as that,
Nice.
and then the off season I started bartending at a club at SLS in South Beach.
Okay.
And then after I was doing magic and that, and I had a huge following, and then
course.
someone came up to me and asked me if I wanted to open a bar with them, and I said yes, and that was my first intro.
Who was this person that came up to you? Did that person work in the bar?
Actually, I didn't even end up working with that guy. It just brought the idea that I could, and we ended up going. Are you familiar with Tobacco Road?
Yeah. So
So-
famous.
So we took over the upstairs and we turned it into Cocktail Collection.
Oh wow.
So that was my first bar,
Nice.
and then they blew up Tobacco Road.
I remember
and then,
I actually spent a day there, one night there. I think you guys had like open jam session or jazz. Something
yeah,
like
that
that.
was
It was
the-
awesome.
hey, by the way,
Music
for
capital of
those
Miami.
listeners and viewers not from Miami, Tobacco Road was the liquor license 0001.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bar in
Crazy,
Miami.
Yeah,
Oldest
that
bar,
was so
for sure.
sad when they brought it down.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know. I mean,
I couldn't believe that was gonna. That was.
just the amount of history and the stories. Like that was like the
Yeah.
only true landmark of Miami.
So what did they? What's there now? Is it?
It's some like open market called Pompeii. They just opened a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I haven't been there.
Wow.
Leo,
Yeah.
so as an expert and having done both things of being, you've been on the ownership side, on the, managing or having your own venue.
Yeah, I started as a bartender, moved to the management.
Right. And being a bartender, mixologist, what do you rather do?
Own a bar or bartend?
Right.
It depends on the day, man. To be honest,
Yeah, right. There's money everywhere.
I love the spotlight, But after bartending for 10 years, it can get a little tiring.
Hey,
know?
did you have any like drink tricks?
Drink tricks?
magic?
Oh yeah, all the time.
All
Like
the
I would do like cups and balls routine, and then I would do some flourish stuff. But my thing behind the bar has always been efficiency. So there's a lot of bartenders that do the flair,
Yeah.
which is okay. But if it takes you 8 minutes to make a drink, your bar owner's not going to be happy.
Of course.
So like being a bartender and a bar owner, I always have that medium. I'm like, you can make it look pretty, but you got to be fast.
You gotta be fast.
Right.
What's the longest a drink should take to prepare a drink?
Depends on the drink. I clock all my bartenders. I give them a minute a drink.
Oh.
So before they finish, they have to make 10 different cocktails in 10 minutes before they can touch the floor.
Cocktails that look like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not
What do
just-
we have here?
Oh, and I can be a tremendous asshole when it comes to that
Oh, yeah?
rating system. Yeah. The flavor's got to be on point. I measure the sugar content.
Oh, shit.
Like if any of the garnishes are off, I'll dump them all. I'm like, you got to start again.
What?
So,
Wow.
But I mean, you'll see the difference when you see these guys.
What's the name of this drink right here?
So it's actually one of our non-alcoholic drinks. It's
okay.
called the Black Gold.
Black Gold?
Black Gold.
Oh, Black
so
Gold.
it's actually coffee, lime, and sugar,
Nice.
which is like a combination that you wouldn't think that works,
Coffee, lime, and sugar.
but it's fucking amazing. It's like my new favorite drink.
sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Sounds like it'll fire you up.
yeah. Before
Might
you
end up
actually
going
start
in that
drinking,
direction.
right?
Yeah.
So today's episode, we wanted to abuse your expertise
Yes.
and talk a little bit about bar control. First of all, what is bar control to you?
Bar patrol, you said?
Bar control.
Right.
I mean,
Bar
it's
control.
only pouring what you're selling.
Right.
Like when you start the business, you put all your prices and you have This is my business partner, AJ.
Hey, what's up?
Mr. Ajoda.
Meet again.
He's got to run to his brother's
buddy.
wedding though, so he doesn't have time.
So you guys are gonna see this guy very soon on the show because we're gonna talk about something different with AJ when he comes on.
Check him out. He'll come back.
He's running to a wedding.
More
We'll use it when it runs out.
He's gonna get more into the.
Is he invited to the
logistics.
wedding or is it just?
It's his brother's. I hope.
Oh, okay. Oh, you never know.
He's in charge of all the transportation.
His brother's
there you
getting
go.
married.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the brother might not show up. Is that what you're saying? All right. So
I've seen the wife. He's showing up.
there you go.
Yeah. Woohoo!
So I'm sure as a well-trained bartender, you learn some tricks. I'm not saying that you stole any money or not. Probably not. But I'm sure you know all the tricks.
I know every trick in the book.
So
Yeah, I've only stolen once, and I felt so bad about it after that,
You get that
I undid it the next day. It's the classic steal where like a lot of bartenders like you're paid in cash.
Oh, you are a magician.
Yeah,
You got it a little
exactly.
easier.
Everyone's worried about me, right?
Right.
But like you buy a beer for like $7, you give it to the bartender, and the bartender just throws the $7 in his bucket.
Right.
You know?
Bucket.
Yeah, like a tip bucket. So the sale never gets ranked.
Got it.
That's
Right.
the easiest way for a bartender to steal, and the hardest way for me to catch. You know? But like, you know, the next day, I felt so bad about it. I was like, that was stupid. Why would I steal $7? I have a great job.
Right.
And then I rang up a beer and I paid for it. And I was like, all right, I didn't steal them. So
Right.
Awesome.
I kind of undid it.
I mean, but
He's watching
I
you.
know for a fact that the tricks get funner and funner. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on and that can happen.
Oh man, I can't imagine.
I mean, I've seen people bring bottles in of their own. I mean, I don't know if this still happens because it used to back in the day.
Yeah, no. I think as the crowd gets older, you start seeing less of that. I think once
Well,
the crowd is like,
I think it's part of that.
it's a young crowd.
It also,
They'll bring a bottle and drink it.
No, but I mean the bartender bringing the bottle behind the bar,
Oh,
selling that.
bartender.
Right, because part of the control is the amount of drinks that you get out of the bottle.
it's one of the more old school ways. So like,
Holy crap.
like
Why
some people
put all
in my
that
family, they were
energy?
bartenders back in the day, and they would bring a bottle so they could give out free shots,
Yes.
and it wouldn't ruin their bar's liquor costs. But that's still stealing. You're stealing sales that
Is
bar
it?
would
Oh,
make.
for sure.
Isn't it good though in a way because you're at the end of the day when you're hooking that person up with a shot, isn't that person gonna spend more because hey the bartender's super cool.
You can-
hey let me get
Yeah,
another.
but where's the drink coming from?
And then where do you draw the line?
Exactly.
I
Like,
think
yes, you want everyone to feel welcome, but there's other ways to do it. So I mean, that's one of my biggest controls. Is I teach all my bartenders. I was like, I know you guys are here. You're here to make money, have a good time, and have everyone love you.
Right.
There's a lot of ways to get there.
Yeah.
You can do it by just giving out drinks, but then I'll fire you.
Right.
So there's a million other ways to do it.
do
And
that.
if they need to know, I'll tell them like, I did magic. Like
Right.
no one ever asked for a free drink because I would perform outrageous magic for them
Of course.
and be like, this is the coolest thing I've seen. I don't need a free drink from this guy.
Exactly.
You know? And then usually your bar owners will give you comp tabs. So like I give my guys, they're allowed to give up to $20
Right.
worth of drinks as long as they ring it up.
as long as they ring it up.
Yeah.
So you give them that ultimatum where so they could keep it real with you.
Yeah, right. Well, it helps them in two ways. And one, like if someone comes in and they want to, and like they have a mistake, right? Like they made a huge fuck up. They forgot to order their food or something. They have the power now to buy them a shot, put on their comp tab, and they don't have to talk to me. And they fix the situation.
Got it.
Right.
You know? Or if their buddies come in, they're like, yo, I can buy your first round.
Got it.
Right. I mean, I had one of our mentors back in the day, Denis Lenov, used to give all the bartenders a certain amount of drink tickets. I mean, like I said, old school stuff.
Yeah.
But, and it was kind of like saying, like, this is how many you can actually give out, and there was a little more control over. The bartenders felt like, okay, so he's giving me something, to work with.
think-
to
I
give
think
out.
Exactly.
that works.
I feel like if you have that stern, like you guys can't do anything,
Right.
you're gonna increase their chance of like they're gonna be a little sneakier about
Right,
it.
right.
I'm like, look, I'm giving you the chance to do that. You know?
Yeah, I think communication and being able to also make them feel some sort of independent and in power because
Empowerment, 100%.
That's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
So when it comes
They're
to control
controlling.
and inventory, is that part of your spillage?
I mean,
Whatever
so
they're giving away.
ultimately, what I do is like I keep it kind of simple because I don't like to stress too much. But I know exactly what we pour during happy hour. So whenever we have different discounts, so I know exactly how many ounces are missing. should be missing, and then I do an inventory every week, so I can do the discrepancy.
Right.
You know, so I always target.
That's crazy.
So I always target.
How they
the
have
17.
to like go through. You got to go through every single bottle, every single.
Yeah, but I mean, it's easier. Like you put up systems, so it's in there. Like everything's organized, so you just count them, and you give yourself a leeway. So like,
Got it.
usually as a bar, you want your liquor costs to be 17%.
Okay.
Depending on which area you are.
Right.
That's what we go for.
Right.
So I go ahead and I just tell my bartenders, I was like, my goal's 19.
Right.
As long as we don't break 19, I'm not gonna mess with you.
Right.
Nice.
And I go, as long as you follow the rules I gave you, you're not gonna have
That
it.
won't happen. Right.
But the first day we ever hit 20%, something's gonna happen.
Right.
I'm gonna spend 4 days reviewing the cameras. I'm gonna find out what happened.
You have a bar manager separate from you guys doing the inventory, or you guys do it yourself?
Just me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another surprise you get sometimes is you have a bar manager that comes to you and says, "I brought it down to 15."
And he took improper. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very suspicious.
Or also like my job isn't only to make sure that they don't steal from me. It's also to make sure they don't steal from the guest.
Of course.
You know?
Oh, yeah,
Because that's what's happening at 15%. He's having every bartender, instead of giving an ounce and a half, they're doing like an ounce.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not. That's even worse.
That's because
And
you want to make
see
sure
that a lot. I mean, and I'm sure you've heard somebody, or it might have happened to you at a bar, that you order a drink from one person, it tastes one way. You order from another, it tastes differently. Even if it's a simple black on the rocks.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that the amount of liquor that there's on that cup is different. You know, 1.5 to 2 ounces. It makes.
But everything is pretty much measured, right? They have the measuring cups.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bartenders hate to use jiggers, you know, so they always
Do
want
they?
to count to 6.
Yeah.
I just don't even give them the option. You know, like if it's a cocktail, like they're very delicate. So if it's off by a couple milliliters,
Right.
the drink's gonna be too sweet, too sour.
Got it.
So if they're making a cocktail, they have to use a jigger. Otherwise, I let them free pour like a Jack and Coke because I don't want to slow them down if I don't need to.
Right.
And then
It's gonna slow it down for sure. And there's that worst thing which is the system with the, an actual.
Oh, that
like
mechanical
the pour
thing?
stops.
Yeah.
And it takes the fun out of a bar.
100%.
You don't want to see
Does
someone.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
right,
see-
like,
it usually
Any
has
kind
like
of
a-
dispensing system, in the end.
It takes the fun out of the bar. And what was that counting? For those viewers
Oh,
who
it's
don't
like
know.
it's a second per quarter ounce.
Okay.
So 1,
oh,
2, 3, 4 should be a shot.
Got it.
So like I mean, and if you're really good at free pouring, yeah, you can be perfect about it.
Are your pours 1, 2, 3, 4?
Back in the day, it was 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
One Mississippi.
The counting
two
was a
Mississippi,
little
three
different.
Mississippi,
Right,
four
yeah.
Mississippi.
One.
I mean, when I got back in the bar, back in the day, I don't get back behind the bars anymore. But when I got back in the bar, my partners were always telling me like, "Hey, time to go."
Yeah.
I was over pouring. I was giving free shit. I was letting the bartenders do whatever. It was not a good idea.
And I check my bartenders all the time, even during the shift, because what happens is like they'll be counting to 6, but the music is blasting, the girl over there is hitting on them, they have a fight that's about to break out, and they're counting to 6. It'd be super easy to count to 7.
Right.
And if they do that enough, it's gonna ruin my business.
Of course.
How important is the POS system? Meaning choosing the right one versus even not using one. I've seen bars that run on cash or whatever.
I mean, it 100% depends on the place and what they're looking for.
Right.
There are better POS systems for sure, but that's an individual preference.
Of course.
But ultimately, it's how you set up your POS. So I've used Micros and Aloha the majority of the places I've been at.
Right.
And I've been to ones where they work great and where they didn't, Because if it takes your bartender, if your bartender can make your drink in a minute and a half, like 6 drinks and he's pumping them out, but then it takes him 4 minutes to ring it up because it's in different screens, there's no reason to have the world's fastest bartender.
Exactly. Oh, so you even take that into.
Every little detail.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many people do you take care of at one time? Do you normally do like one-on-one when you have a bar that's moving? Let's say a Tuesday over here.
It depends on the individual. So when I did it, I would make a lot of my managers worrisome because doing Magic, I'm also into like memory games.
Right.
So I'm able to take 10 to 15 orders at a time,
That's
dish them
very
all
serious.
out, take the payments, know where I'm going.
Wow, I was here thinking, take care of 3 people.
Yeah.
10, 15 orders.
But that was me, and that's because like my profession was Magic, so it was like it was kind of a game that I would play with myself, and it made me a little faster. But I tell my guys, I was like, tops 2 people.
Right.
And it should be take an order and ring it in. Because I was looking back on it and like even though it was very difficult what I did, and I wasn't probably giving the best service because I was worried about keeping all those orders.
I mean,
That's
mine
crazy.
and
15 orders?
And it doesn't
by the time you get to
save that
number
much
10.
time.
It's like New York. In New York, like when you see the bartenders, not bartenders, like waitresses come and they take your order and they're like, how can we help you? And
Right.
they don't write anything down. It's like,
I mean, one of the reasons some
Yeah.
people do it that way, not as far as 10, but maybe go for 3-4 people at a time.
Save
is
time.
Because no, they don't really save that much time in the end. Because you got to make the same drinks. You got to, do
Yeah.
the whole thing.
And
It's just-
also, if you take 4 people's order at once, that 4th person
that's the guy
is
that's
waiting just as long as the person that took the first one.
Right.
So you're like, why am I waiting so long to get my drink?
Exactly.
It's better to just chip away.
Yeah, because you do all of them. It's not
and then,
like, okay, I'll
and
do
then
you
the crowd
first.
also sees that you're moving along, you know?
Right.
If you serve 10 people at once, they're like, this bartender sucks.
Right.
They don't notice that a whole wave of people is moving.
Exactly. But one of the reasons some bartenders do that is the fact that, okay, now I got you as my client. I'm like, because they're fighting
Exactly.
for clients also.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I
there
do
is some competition.
I do a pooled house.
Okay.
My servers, my bartenders,
Yeah,
it's a pooled house.
I think that's smart.
They're all on the same team.
got it. That's
And
definitely smart.
and there used to be that hierarchy where bartenders were gods and they made the most money, and it creates this
yeah.
business.
When does that become a problem? The share tip. Because I've had people that
when
complain.
you have a lazy, shitty employee,
Right.
but that fixes its problems. It's even better because like I had a bartender
Everybody
that
else
was
will
like
come
that.
to you and say,
and then be
"Fire
like,
this motherfucker."
I don't feel okay splitting my tips with this guy because he took 12 smoke breaks.
Right.
You know, so now I know I don't even have to ask them. They're gonna rat each other out.
Right.
You know, and I run my not rat. That's not the right word, but I run my business. I was like, guys, I'm
No,
gonna
rat is not good.
Yeah. But I just want to
But it's ratting. It's fucking
But
ratting.
it is, yeah. But ultimately, like I
Snitches
tell them,
get
it's like
stitches.
we're all here for the same thing.
Exactly.
So we're just
Sure.
trying to improve each other. So just if I do something wrong, let me know. I'll let you know if you do something wrong,
course.
and get the bad blood out of it.
So do you still bartend? You do, right?
Every once in a while, I haven't been lately, but I miss it.
It's
man.
fun, right?
Yeah.
To talk to people, you get to like do
You're
your
the star of the
tricks.
show. Everyone wants to talk to you. Everyone has to talk to you.
No, and this guy actually has fun behind
Yeah.
the bar for sure. I mean, he makes it fun with the magic, and making
course.
very nice drinks. It's all important.
That was the hardest part of this business, though, was that like every bar I ever opened, like I always had a huge following and I was an entertaining guy. So people would come and see my new bartenders and then be like, Leo, can you go make that drink for me? And it took me a long time to be able to like make the concept more important than me,
Got it.
which hurt my ego,
Yeah, of course.
but it's
Right.
important to do as a businessman.
Totally, because
Right.
you can't be everywhere.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
And like, I
It's
can't
the
be here
only way
7
you're
days a
gonna-
week.
And it's the only way you could expand.
Yeah, if I want to open another
Do you
concept, this
do you
has
guys
to
do
go up.
inventory nightly or weekly basis or how?
Weekly.
Okay.
And then I've been at places where I do it monthly too.
Okay.
Here, I definitely do weekly because we're mostly on cocktails, so we don't have a huge inventory. So it only takes me 15, 20 minutes to do my inventory.
So when you're doing, let's say a monthly inventory, how do you find the mall?
How do you find the what?
it makes it
How do you know where the hole is, the
yeah.
problem?
it makes it harder. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, all doing inventory lets you know is if you have a problem.
Right.
So at the end of the month, if your liquor costs are 23%, you know something went wrong. It could be a bartender stole. It could be a miscalculation in your inventory.
Right.
It could be a broken bottle. There's a lot of other details.
Right.
But it just lets you know that there is a problem.
Exactly.
So
And then-
ideally, you never have that problem.
Right. Now, let's say you did. How do you attack that problem?
Yeah. So
As
you
an owner.
there's a multitude of
Fire.
ways.
Huh? Well, but you don't know.
But you don't know if it's
at
an employee
At that
stealing.
moment, you don't know if it was your own mistake. It was
Yeah.
your bar back. I mean, bartender,
Anybody.
Yeah.
Whoever was taking care of it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like stealing, the best way to combat that, like if I go look at my cameras, I'm gonna look at every minute by the minute. That's gonna take me forever to find a mistake.
Crazy.
And sometimes the cameras are fuzzy. I might miss something.
Yeah.
And there's still ways to hide it even when the camera's looking.
Right.
You know, like let's say he rang up 5 beers and sold 6, and then he just makes a little bit of a slightly bigger tip. On the camera, it's gonna look fine.
Right.
Exactly.
But he's still stealing from me.
Dude, there's nothing worse, and I've seen it happen. Somebody looking in the camera, at somebody doing the work, and thinking they did something, going after them, taking them out of the bar, counting, and realizing, oh shit, it's all there, it's fine. There's no issues, there's no problem.
Exactly.
You know how bad that person feels, how scared you are of this lawsuit that you're about to get.
Yeah.
All those things. It's not a good thing. And
it
it's
creates
usually
horrible feeling.
for like a $7 thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not a big ass of a deal.
And it creates.
And your bartender will never recover from that.
Oh,
Because he's
never.
always gonna look at you like you're accusing him.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, but once you know you have a problem, you just go through the list of everything. The
Right.
best way to catch someone stealing is 20% of the people that come to this bar are regulars of mine from back in the day. So if they see something fishy, they're gonna tell me. And then you also have secret shoppers.
Oh, that's even worse.
Right.
Yeah, I'll even have a guy.
Oh yeah, you have secret shoppers.
Yeah, like I don't even use it that professionally. I'll have someone like once a week. I'll be like, I'll give them like $20, and I'll go, I want you to buy 2 drinks, and then just put it on the bar and walk away.
This is what we call what?
And then keep an eye. Yeah, and then you just keep an eye. And like a bartender that's stealing from you, he's gonna steal from you all the time. He's not gonna do it once. So if he gets that opportunity, he's gonna do it. So you'll know right away.
Yeah, I used to do that for fun for friends at other bars when they.
It is fun to do.
And it is fun to do.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, it's fun. You feel like you're a little FBI and you're getting drinks at the same time.
Yeah, no, there's no downside for you.
Exactly.
You know?
Do you
awesome.
ask your bartenders to promote?
I don't ask specifically for it. I do in other ways, like I make sure they review our place. And I mean, my business has always been just serve really awesome drinks and food. So whenever someone comes to work for me, the first thing I have to do is eat our food.
The way production just tried the tacos. Let me see your face.
How was that?
Yeah.
Good.
Dude,
Hey, you only ate 7 of them.
I'm telling you, those friggin' tacos.
Yeah. So like anyone that comes there, like they love our food so much that they're gonna invite their friends because they're so proud of what we're doing. That's the best thing to do.
And it's not because you're here. I have never been the kind of guy that orders cocktails. I guess I want to look manly and have a
Beer.
black and the rock on my hand, whatever the reason is. I've actually been drinking since the podcast started. I've been drinking beer.
Nice. Doing good.
Cusqueña,
Pacific.
But when I tried, your cocktails when you guys started doing the first pop up over there, bro, it was just completely different. I just had to try the next one and the next one. And
You guys are
there was
known.
a part of the explanation of how it was made and the whole thing. And
My God, look at this guy. This guy's ripping it up.
And I don't tell everything. Like I have some science background, so like we usually measure our pH levels, our sugar content, so our drinks are always the same.
Right.
Are they?
Yeah, 100%.
Consistency.
Yeah. Like
That's all.
Like the first week that I do let someone go on the floor, like I'll sit right on the edge of the bar, and it's boring for me. I just sit there for 8 hours and I watch them make every drink. And if they make one mistake, they dump it, they pay for it, and they make a new one.
They dump it and pay for it?
It costs me money, it's gotta cost them money.
Wow.
So, but
Tough.
But I encourage them. I'm like, go slow, and speed will come. Because a lot of guys try to be fast and they're sloppy, and it doesn't do me good or the guests good.
Well, you see them like pouring drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah, you see people like they don't even do the pop when they pour, and you just see milliliters drop.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no reason for that.
If you remember, at other episodes, we've interviewed people that have told us how they got a job in this business, in the industry, without actually having the knowledge of doing some of the things, like actually doing the drinks or the price, knowing nothing, but getting it for their looks. That's one thing I know for a fact these guys don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised by the staff that they had working for them.
You just called your staff ugly.
I mean, I guess the fact that
No, that's true. I get everyone I've ever worked with, like even these guys that we work with now, they're like, why don't you have any girls behind the bar? And I'm like, and I do. It's just I hire whoever wants to work here and whoever works the hardest.
Right.
And
exactly.
and like for me, like I'll if you want to work either
and
or.
it shouldn't be the
But in
other
my
way.
eyes-
No, of course.
And like it helped me when I opened my first bar. It was actually more useful to have. I had all guys behind the bar. It just happened that way.
It's easier to
And
say,
we-
hey, bring that beer over here.
What was that? And it was also
Bring that
like
case, bring that.
I had like 4 good-looking guys that brought all these coolers over.
That also helps.
So all these people would come into the bar and they're like, they'd see 3 guys behind the bar and they'd be like, whatever. But then they'd see 20 girls in the bar and they'd be like,
Front of the bar.
this is
and
way better.
Hell yeah. Got
Right.
it. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, like if you
So you
go
think
to
about everything.
like if you go to a Hooters, it's 4 girls behind the bar and then all men surrounded.
Of course.
So it's
Makes
not as
sense.
inviting as a good mix.
It makes a lot of sense.
So what would be best advice you would give a starting bartender?
Work for me.
All right, let's say the guys that are listening
Call the number.
in Canada or in Australia or
Call the number.
Yeah.
all over the world.
I mean, you just get a good basis, get some recommendations of a good book. There's this guy, and you mean like mixology style or just
In
general bartender?
Good
general.
bartender.
I mean, I guess mixology, it's better if you go in that route. I mean, it's better.
it's kind of a necessity now.
Right.
And bartending, like they are a little different. To be a mixologist, I don't like the term, but you need to know, I know a lot about lime juice. I know way more about lime juice than anyone should.
Oh wow,
you know, but it makes a big difference. So like, I think that's what it is. Like a bartender is someone that goes to the bar, they work, they might be efficient, they'll know their drink recipes, but they might not know all the little details behind it. So like, just love your craft.
Right.
If you love what
By the
you
way,
do,
is there a drink we should try? Should we try this thing?
yeah, I mean, what are you guys in the mood for? Sweet, sour, spicy?
No, I mean, you mentioned the coffee lime thing. I
mean, do you want booze or no booze?
Oh, booze first.
Yeah, I mean, the Gardener's Margarita is our best drink by far. We won Best Margarita for it last year.
I'll try a margarita.
You want one of those?
I'm gonna try one of the coffee things.
Okay, cool.
Just to see
I'll try a margarita.
Fernando,
This guy's chewing away those.
and a,
Sorry guys, but I got a little thirsty. I'm looking at this guy eat those tacos. That
Like, hey, you want to share?
he just doesn't look real. We have no idea how this episode is gonna look because I don't think this guy's looking at the different cameras. I don't think he's changed the cameras for a while.
I mean, I guess that's a good testament to our tacos,
No,
right?
100%. So what are we about to have? What is it that we're?
So the Gardener's Margarita, that's it won Best Margarita last year.
How did you win Best Margarita? It's like a competition that.
The entire city of Miami voted.
Oh wow.
And,
Okay, so-
yeah, so it's only by votes, and you can only vote once from each IP address, I guess.
Right.
That's how it works, and we won that.
So you can't get like your family to spend the night voting.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's a legit, it's a coveted award.
Got it.
It means a lot to me because it means that
Oh,
the people
of
that
course.
live in Miami are the ones that said it.
So
It's-
did you design the menu? I
Yeah.
mean, the drinks.
I'm sorry.
Is this a drink that was?
Everything we do here. Like we came up with all our drinks, all our own
but
food.
it's your
It's your creation?
Oh yeah, it's original to me for sure.
Cocktail conjuror. What does that mean?
That's my Instagram handle, and that started when I was at the SLS when I was starting.
Which we never mentioned ours today, by the way.
Let's
I don't
mention
even know
them right now. What's your handle? Where can people find you?
The cocktail_conjure on
There you
Instagram.
go.
So I'm the nightlife entrepreneur.
And I'm Iko Taps Beer, and also at Doral Food and Wine Festival. You all gotta go get your tickets right now.
Yes, and at LMG Miami, where you find our parties. I really want to taste this drink. All right. So you were saying, know your craft is what you consider the best advice that you can.
Yeah, like if you and don't have an ego. Like that's the first.
Okay.
Whenever I hire, I almost prefer to hire a bartender with not that much experience.
Okay.
But the first thing I do when I hire a bartender is I break them down. I have them make our drinks, and I go, "Is that the best you could do on that cocktail?" Like I just give my recipe, and I was like, "How do you think this is made?" And then they'll make it, and then we'll try it, and then I'll make it, and I'll go, "Which one's better?" And I've never had anyone argue with me, and they go, "Yeah, yours is way better." And then I'll go through each step.
So at
of the
least they're
differences.
smart.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, who's gonna argue with the guy that's about to hire you?
Right. Exactly.
You know. But I just get rid of that. I was like, guys, it's not about being right. It's about doing what's
I'm just telling
fastest
you,
and best.
in the late night life, it just works so different.
Yeah.
I won't say how, but
Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried a drink that you're like, oh wow, this is actually better than mine? Has that happened?
Not better, but different, or like a refreshing idea. Because there's rules in mixology, right? So there's certain parameters of what we look for in a cocktail.
Okay.
So once you hit a certain level, it's not necessarily going to be better, except for on like one-offs every once in a while.
Okay.
Like there's
Right.
this guy Dave Arnold, where he actually puts saline drops. So just salt and water, and he shakes it, and he puts like 1 or 2 drops in his drinks before he shakes it. So it's the same idea as salting your food. So it just makes the flavors pop a little bit.
Got it.
So the first time I had one of his drinks, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I made the same margarita, but yours is just a little better.
Right.
And so that's what he's doing.
Right.
And then I don't have an ego, so I asked, and now we incorporate that.
Right.
So there are always things coming along, but like, you're never done learning.
right. By the way, my top 5 tips for bartenders was actually know your craft, cleanliness. I mean, we are very much about being clean. A lot of bars get extremely dirty, and people don't
Even more than
worry
being
about it.
clean, it's a French term, mise en place,
Right.
which is everything has its place.
Exactly.
So it's like also be tidy. Like you can be clean, but if everything's not where it's supposed
where
to
it's
be,
supposed to be,
you'll slow down the whole bar.
You make sure the next guy knows where things are. It's not for you alone. It should be
like
a
my
certain
favorite thing
way.
to do is you go to a club and you'll watch like bartenders working, and you'll order something and they'll go to grab the bottle,
Yeah,
and it's not there, and they just have the deer in headlights.
Right.
Like that's the worst feeling as a
Yeah,
bartender.
for those of you that are not bartenders or have not bartendered, there is an order for things.
Oh yeah,
Where
and
bottles
most
should
bars.
be.
I mean,
Right.
anyone can open a bar, right? It's only,
course.
but it's not necessarily going to be good. So you can always pick up on these mistakes and what happens.
And
Right.
and you place the bottles strategically because you're taking time into accountability, and what else? What else are you looking for when you're placing the bottles?
Here's the drinks. So this is the black gold.
This is the other way. There you go.
This is called what?
This is the black gold. So this is like our coffee limeade
gold?
drink. And then that's the Gardener's Margarita.
Thank you, man.
It's got a sugar salted rim,
Cheers
red bell
to you.
pepper, cucumber, serranos for a little heat.
Cheers, my friend.
I look less gay.
Yeah.
Hey, so as I was saying, so the last tip I wanted to say, besides the fact of not stealing, is customer service, which you did mention. And I believe, from what I got from you, customer service is the solution to not stealing in a way, because that is how you get your better tips in the end. You know, you remember people's names, you get their order right, you get good
Spicy.
drinks, you talk to them,
Yeah,
say
right.
somebody's name when they walk in the door right away, remember next time what they're, all
Yeah.
those things are.
Well, I feel like
Right.
a lot of people have trouble with service. Like, how are you going to act when someone comes to your table? Like, sometimes you'll go to a place and they'll be a little reserved, or it'll be too fake. So I always tell everyone, I was like, treat everyone like they're a guest in your home. If someone
good-
comes into your house and you don't offer them a drink, your mother's going to slap the shit out of you.
Dude, this is my new fucking favorite
I
drink.
told you, man.
For those Colombians out there, this is agua de panela with lime and coffee. That's what it tastes like.
And whenever we tell someone about that, they're like, there's no way that's good. So we always have to
It's
say,
amazing.
I'll be like, look, I'll buy it for you if you don't like it.
Right.
And they take that first sip and they make the same face.
Right.
And they
Guys,
get addicted.
So I think our time's over. This
that
thing
was
goes
fast.
faster than
Hey,
we think. Than
listen,
you would ever
come
think.
to this bar. There's a lot. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to drink.
What's the address here?
1000 South Miami Avenue.
Very easy.
forget the
1000 South Miami Avenue, in the middle of Brickell, the heart of Brickell. You gotta come to Socal Cantina, and you won't be sorry. Ask for AJ or Leo, and you will get amazing drinks, amazing tacos. You guys have an Instagram for the business?
Yeah, Socal Cantina.
There you go, Socal Cantina. And
Pretty
remember,
original.
Socal Cantina.
find us, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Facebook, Automatic, all those things. The Nightlife Podcast and the
Nightlife
website nightlifeentrepreneurs.com for now. See you next week.
Go get tickets to the Raw Food and Wine Festival.